It is Tuesday morning, May 13, 2025. Good morning and welcome to the morning news right here on TV3. We are coming to you live from our studios at the Subway Kanda. We're also streaming live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. My name is Safwa Boahine. Now coming up this morning. Ghana Gold Board CEO Sami Jeni queried over dollar gift to evangelist Patricia Udru-Cranton. Also coming up this morning, U.S. judge slashes defamation award against Kennedy Japan from $18 million to $500. Also coming up in business, Guta challenges PRC's justification for tariff hikes amid cedi appreciation. We have details of this and many more coming up shortly. Please stay with us. Many thanks for joining us this morning. Let's settle for the details now into a first story. President John Dramani Mahama has intimated that his administration is working assiduously to reduce public debts bequeathed to it and also deeply committed to transforming Ghana's economy for long-term growth. Speaking at the African Union September conference in Togo, the president is also urging African leaders to adopt a more responsible approach to borrowing that aligns with the development needs of their citizens.
From managing debt crisis to unlocking debt as a tool for development, then Africa must adopt a new public debt management agenda that is rooted in three foundational pillars. And the first one is transparency and accountability. Debt should serve the people, and this means strengthening parliamentary oversight, enhancing public debt audits, and promoting open budget systems. According to the IMF, less than 40% of African countries publish detailed debt reports. This must change. The second is productive, efficient, and responsible borrowing. Borrowing must be tied to high-impact projects that deliver tangible returns to our people. In Ghana, we're prioritizing value-added agriculture, renewable energy, road infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and health and education sectors. All these sectors yield multiplier effects in jobs, exports, and innovation.
Well, the acting chief executive officer of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Jeni, has met with Chief of Staff Julius Deborah on Monday, May 12th, after being urgently summoned to answer questions over a viral video showing him handing an undisclosed amount of cash to controversial evangelist Nana Grada. TV3 sources say Jeni left the presidency around 11 Monday morning, appearing very remorseful and pensive following the closed-door meeting. The video, which has sparked widespread public criticism, shows the public official making a cash handover to Patricia Udru-Cranton, also known as Nana Grada, raising ethical concerns and calls for enforcement of President Mahama's Code of Conduct for public officials. Sources say the presidency takes a serious view of the issue that generated widespread discussions, with many asking the president to reprimand him, desire publicly apologizing for his indiscretion. We will definitely be following up on this story and we'll be bringing you the updates as and when it develops. Well, let's move away from that and do some other story where the minority in Parliament has called for the immediate suspension or dismissal of Ghana Gold Board CEO Sami Jeni, citing his actions as infringement on the Code of Conduct as well as violation of the Cedi and Foreign Exchange Acts. MP for Wale Wale Dr. Mahama Abdul Kabiru addressed the media in Parliament.
Dr. Mahama Abdul Kabiru said the display of the foreign currency by Sami Jeni is a betrayal of public trust. He said the incident undermines efforts to stabilize the economy, noting the action violates the Currency and Foreign Exchange Acts.
The Ghana cedi is the sole legal tender in Ghana. There is no justification whatsoever for keeping stacks of dollars because foreign exchange businesses and international payment are regulated under Section 16 and Section 15, which provides that, and I quote, each payment in foreign currency to or from Ghana between resident and non-resident or between non-residents shall be made through a bank. The action of Mr. Sami Jeni in keeping, spending, and circulating foreign currency is also an offense under Section 26 of the Currency Act.
The Walewale MP also said there is an obligation on Evangelist Patricia Odro, alias Nana Agrada, to pay tax on the money received.
There is that obligation to pay tax, and that is regulated by the income tax laws of the country. The income tax laws require that any gift received of a value, especially in money, you have to pay tax on it. So the clock has started ticking for her as well. We expect the GRA to demonstrate commitment towards curtailing the continuous evasion of gift tax, which has remained unaccounted in their books.
The minority group, among others, called for the immediate suspension or dismissal of the Ghana Gold Board CEO.
This has also answered the kind of sanctions that we expect of the president. Immediate suspension and further investigation at the least, or the termination of the acting position, because clearly you don't need a lawyer to tell you that Mr. Sami Jeni has violated some laws. So we need a full-scale investigation into the source of the dollar bundle display in that viral video. We expect an apology from the president to the good people of Ghana for the insult this act represents to those suffering under this suffering economy.
And finally, moving away from that, investigative journalist Anas Arimiyahu Anas has confirmed that a United States court has reduced a defamation award against former Asin Central Member of Parliament Kennedy Japan from $18 million to $500. This follows a legal request filed by lawyers for Kennedy Japan. The ruling was delivered after the trial judge agreed that although Kennedy Japan had defamed Anas, the amount awarded by the jury was excessive. The court upheld the jury's finding of malicious defamation but significantly reduced the financial penalty. In a press release issued on May 11, 2025, Anas, through his investigative firm Tiger IPI, acknowledged the revised judgment. The case dates back to 2019 when Anas sued Kennedy Japan in the United States over some statements the MP made after the release of the number 12 documentary and investigative film by Tiger IPI, which uncovered corruption in Ghana's football. We will still keep an eye on this, but let's bring you a story from the court where the Office of the Attorney General is yet to decide on a plea bargain request by Patience Boche, one of 7 accused persons on trial for the theft of various amounts of monies, jewelries and personal items of former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapa. Lord Idwasari reports.
Patience Boche and Sarah J., the 2 housemates of Cecilia Dapa, have been charged with conspiracy and stealing, while Benjamin Soa, Malik Dauda, Christiana Ichab, Job Pomery, and Yaya Sumaila are facing charges of dishonestly receiving from the stolen money. At the last adjourned date, the prosecution led by State Attorney Abna Kunedwe J notified the court that 5 of the accused persons had submitted petitions to the AG's office for plea bargains. But in court on Monday, May 12, the State Attorney indicated that the plea bargain requests of Sarah J, Benjamin Soa, Malik Dauda, and Yaya Sumaila had been withdrawn, and the AG's office was considering the request by first accused Patience Boche. She informed the court that the Attorney General is yet to make a decision on the request. Presiding Judge Marie-Louise Simmons directed the prosecution to refile their motions after they hinted of an application to request the court to grant a freeze order on alleged properties purchased by the accused persons with the alleged stolen monies. The judge suspended the further cross-examination of Madame Cecilia Dapa by lawyer for Sarah J after noting his absence. Lawyer for the 3rd and 4th accused persons cross-examined the former minister, after which the case was adjourned to Friday, May 16.
And let's bring you some more stories where more than 10,000 nurses and midwives have left Ghana in search of better work conditions abroad. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association says the trend, if left unchecked, could cripple the country's healthcare system.
Figures from the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association show that over 3,000 nurses immigrated in 2023 alone. In 2024, the number rose sharply to more than 4,000. The Ghana Health Service estimates that over 10,000 nurses and midwives have now exited the country, placing enormous strain on those still working in local hospitals. Health experts warn the figure could triple by the end of the year unless swift action is taken. Speaking at this year's International Day of Nurses and Midwives, GRNMA President Perpetual Furampofo called for urgent improvements to working conditions to curb the mass exodus.
Some of our colleagues have also emigrated, seeking greener pastures elsewhere. And it's all because they complain that their pay is not good, the working conditions are not the best, they need equipment to work with, they are not there, so they've left. And once they have left and they have not been replaced, what we have is increased workload. And where there's increased workload, the resultant effect is burnout among some of our nurses and midwives. And the solution is simple. We need to find a way of ensuring that we ethically manage migration.
Deputy Chief of Staff Nana Oyebampo Addo responded by assuring government is preparing to roll out a new policy to address the crisis.
We have allocated 480 million cedis in the 2025 budget for nursing trainee allowances. We have uncapped the National Health Insurance Levy programming. So we have 9.93 billion for claim payments, for essential medicines, for vaccines, for free primary healthcare initiative, and the newly introduced Ghana Medical Care Trust, Mahama Cares.
Poor remuneration remains a major concern. A revised condition of service document remains unsigned, fueling frustration among health workers. Practitioners in deprived communities also complain about the lack of allowances, inadequate infrastructure, and inconsistent water supply, all of which hinder effective service delivery. Perpetual Furampofo renewed her call for urgent reforms.
Washing of hands is a continuous effort to ensure that we don't transfer organisms from a surface or from one person to the other. But in some of our facilities, water supply is a great challenge. They are buying water in tanks.
The Deputy Chief of Staff, Nana Oyebampo Addo, assured government commitment to address the challenges.
We are going to establish formal international partnerships, and we aim to offer nurses meaningful employment opportunities whilst retaining the integrity of our healthcare system and enhancing Ghana's global standing.
Other speakers at the event stressed the need for a long-term policy framework that supports nurses and midwives without increasing their burden.
Brain drain is indeed a very disturbing issue, especially if it happens within the health sector. But in a related development, the UK government has announced a significant policy shift aiming to reduce migration figures by abolishing the healthcare worker visa route. This decision is expected to have far-reaching implications, not just for the UK, but also for Ghana. In this explainer, Judith Brown explores the impact of this policy change on the country.
The government plans to phase out care worker visas affecting thousands of individuals from countries like Ghana who seek employment in the UK's health and social care sector. While the new policy aims to reduce reliance on international recruitment and promote domestic training and skills, the UK's decision to abolish care worker visas will likely have a significant impact on Ghana's economy and healthcare sector. Many Ghanaians have relied on working in the UK's care sector to send remittances back home and gain valuable experience. For instance, in 2022, a BBC report found that over 1,200 Ghanaian nurses joined the nursing register of the United Kingdom, which at the time was actively recruiting from Ghana. Care workers in the UK are concerned about the critical staff shortages, but as it stands, the UK's immigration policy shift will likely have long-term implications for Ghana's relationship with the UK and its position as a destination for international students and workers. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Well, let's move away from that and bring you a story from the Finance Ministry, where the Finance Minister, Dr. Cecilia Dapa, has tasked the newly inaugurated committee responsible for developing a roadmap for the construction of a new gas processing plant 4 weeks to complete their work. The 15-member committee was inaugurated jointly with the Energy Ministry with the aim of finding solutions to the country's perennial energy challenges.
Ghana's power challenges continue to be of major concern to key sector players in the Mahama administration. Of critical importance to dealing with the development is the construction of a second gas processing plant to provide critical fuel to power the country's thermal plants. According to Energy Minister Dr. John Jinapor, the country currently is not meeting its gas demands for a number of its plants. He adds the coming on stream of the new processing plant will create jobs.
Even as all of us agree that the cost of electricity hits our pockets, the truth is that 1 billion is not reflected in the current tariff structure. Demand is projected to increase by about 300 megawatts every year. And so next year, your guess is as good as mine. So something ought to be done urgently to address this situation. The gas processing plant is estimated to generate about 1,500 direct and indirect jobs.
Finance Minister Dr. Dapa, on his part, tasked the committee to eschew bureaucracies and see to implementing the task handed them.
The problem, as we see, is far bigger than what the country can accommodate. This simply means that we have to fast track this gas processing plant too. I want to also use this opportunity to urge the technical committee to expedite action and for us to quickly resolve the concerns that have raised. We need to have a second gas processing plant as soon as possible. And I believe that the technical committee will be able to finish their work in time for us to commission a contractor or a business to be able to build a second gas processing plant. If we give you a month, I'm sure, Chair, a month should be enough. Take less tea and a little bit more biscuit. And I'm sure you'll be able to finish this within a matter of 4 weeks.
2 additional committees, a steering committee constituting ministers and heads of agencies, and a communication committee to provide timely update to Ghanaians, were additionally inaugurated.
Let's now take you to the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, where they have voiced strong concerns regarding the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission's PRC's continued justification for proposed utility tariff hikes, particularly in light of the recent rapid appreciation of the cedi. GUTA argues that the significant strengthening of the local currency against major foreign currencies should logically lead to a reduction in the cost of imported inputs for utility companies such as fuel and equipment.
The Public Utility Regulatory Commission (PURC) had last month announced a 14.75% and 4.02% hike in electricity and water tariffs effective May this year. The regulator cited the exchange rate, among others, as the reasons for the upward adjustment. However, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations (GUTA) has hit against the move, arguing that the currency has remained relatively stable this year.
There's no justification because they use the exchange rate as a major reason. So if the exchange rate have gained, the cedi have gained such a strength, and it is very significant. So they also have to converge and think through and reduce. Otherwise, it will also negate the gains that we are having from the appreciation of the cedi. And so government have to look at it comprehensively.
Meanwhile, President of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obing, also urged the trading community to adjust prices downwards reflects the cedi's recent gains, stressing that this is necessary to remain competitive and fair to consumers.
That's why we're advising that you do not overprice yourself out of a competitive market, because once people have gotten it at a cheaper rate, they are not going to wait for you. And if your goods are perishable, are you going to sit down for them to perish or some sort? So we are appealing that they strike reasonable averages between the old and the new, so that they can still remain in competition. So it's a very good appeal that we are doing.
That will be all for the morning news right here on TV3. Many thanks for joining us this morning. New Day continues with the team. My name is Safwa Boyne. Have a wonderful day.